Patrol log. Officer Daniel Harker, Unit 47. Date: October 29th, 2021. Shift start: 2200 hours. Weather: steady rain, visibility limited. The night started like most others. Wet asphalt reflecting the sodium lights. Windshield wipers keeping rhythm with the static hum of the cruiser's engine. The city felt half asleep. Just the distant bark of dogs, the low hiss of tires through puddles, and the occasional radio check cutting through the monotony. My partner, Miller, was quiet tonight. We'd been on 3 minor calls already. Noise complaint, suspicious vehicle, welfare check. Routine things. Nothing that sticks. Around 042, the dispatch crackled again, a slight delay before the voice came through. Distorted, like the system caught its breath. Unit 47, possible disturbance reported near Old Route 19. Abandoned rest stop. Caller reported hearing voices in the woods. Miller groaned. That place again. I didn't respond. The rest stop had been closed for years, condemned after a fire. Locals said it was a hangout for vagrants. Still, dispatch claimed the report came from payphone, which was strange. There were no active payphones left there. We turned off the main road, tires sloshing through water as trees began to close in on both sides. The rain thickened, hammering the roof. Miller adjusted the radio, trying to clear up the static. It only got worse. Every few seconds, a faint pulse of sound, like breathing, broke through the noise. 47 to dispatch, en route to location, I said. The radio clicked. No response. I tried again. 47 to dispatch. Confirmed signal. Static. Then a voice, faint, too soft to be clear. Sounded like someone whispering beneath the interference. Miller frowned. You hear that? I nodded. The GPS blinked out for a moment, the screen dimming to black before flickering back on. The road ahead was narrow, lined with dark pines. My headlights caught what looked like fog creeping low to the ground, though the rain should have kept it down. When we finally saw the rest stop sign, it was half-rotted, bullet holes scattered across it like old scars. We slowed to a crawl. The building itself sat back from the road, an empty structure of concrete and shadows. Roof collapsed in one corner. The rain made a steady metallic tapping against the old vending machine by the entrance. Miller grabbed the flashlight. In and out, he muttered. The moment he stepped out, the radio gave one last sharp burst of static, then went dead completely. I tried the mic again. Nothing. The only sound was the rain. I got out, closed the door, and, for a brief second thought, I heard another door close somewhere ahead. Not the cruiser's. I looked around. Nothing but the dripping forest. Miller was already walking toward the building, the beam of his light cutting through the mist. I followed. The smell hit first, wet concrete, old smoke, something metallic beneath it all. Dispatch. This is Unit 47. I tried once more just out of habit. The radio on my shoulder clicked faintly, then hissed. Between the bursts of noise, a word, or maybe just a sound, breathed through, stay. I froze. You say something? I called to Miller. He turned, confused. No. Why? I looked down at the radio again. The light was on, but there was no signal. That's when I noticed a puddle near the doorway rippling. Not from the rain, but like something had just stepped into it. No wind, no movement, just the spreading circles. I lifted the flashlight. The doorway was empty, but I swear I saw a shadow pull itself back into the dark. The radio gave one long tone, a flat, digital beep, and then silence. Patrol log. Officer Daniel Harker, Unit 47. Time: 0:58 hours. Location: Old Route 19, closed rest stop facility. The structure was worse than I remembered. The fire must have gutted most of it. Half the roof caved in, the tiles along the floor slick with water and soot. Miller's flashlight moved across the walls, catching half-burned posters, empty cans, shattered glass. The rain outside echoed through the open sections of roof, creating a low metallic rhythm that mixed with the faint hum of our body cams. Everything smelled like cold ashes and rot. We did a quick perimeter check. No recent tire marks, no footprints except ours. But inside, something felt occupied. I couldn't say why. Maybe the way the shadows shifted just a little too slow, or the fact that every time I looked away from a corner, I thought I saw movement there. Miller was trying to radio back. Dispatch, Unit 47 on site, checking structure. Static. A low rumble followed, almost like interference, but heavier. I caught fragments of words, signal lost, repeat, then nothing. We split, staying within sight. My boots scraped across broken tile. The beam of light trembled slightly in my hand. On the wall near the restroom doors, someone had written something in soot. The letters were crude, shaky. Don't answer. I turned toward Miller to point it out, but he was already moving deeper past the vending machine and into the main corridor. His light disappeared around the corner. Then the sound came, not from him behind me. A slow, dragging noise like something was being pulled across the floor. I swung the flashlight back. Nothing, just puddles reflecting my own light back at me. The air temperature dropped noticeably. My breath fogged. "Miller, hold position," I said, voice low. No reply. I stepped into the main hall. The corridor was lined with old bathroom stalls and storage doors. Some hung open, creaking slightly. The rain sounded distant now, like it was outside a tunnel. My radio clicked once, just once, and a voice bled through, faint and wrong. "He's in here." "Miller," I whispered. No answer. Then I heard him, boots against the floor, fast. A flashlight beam jerked into view ahead, catching the edge of a wall. He was breathing hard. "Danny, I just saw someone in the mirror. In the damn mirror." "What mirror?" He pointed to the restroom door. Inside, one mirror still clung to the wall above a cracked sink. It was fogged with moisture, streaked with black. I could see our reflections faintly, broken by cracks and darkness. Miller stepped closer, wiped the glass with his sleeve. For a second, the reflection didn't match. He moved, but the image of him didn't. It stayed still, just standing there, mouth slightly open, eyes too dark. Then the lights flickered, just once, and both images blurred. Miller stumbled back, swearing. "It's some kind of trick. Someone's here." Before he could finish, the mirror fractured outward like something had pressed from the other side. Not shattered, pushed. We both froze. The sound that followed wasn't glass. It was breathing. Clothes wet wrong. I backed up. "We're leaving," I said. He nodded, still staring. Then his body cam flickered. I caught in my periphery. 1 second he was there, the next the frame glitched, and he wasn't. "Miller." No reply. I turned my flashlight toward the door. His light was on the floor, beam pointing up at the ceiling, rainwater dripping onto the lens. His radio clicked twice, then went quiet. I stepped closer, careful, scanning every corner. The puddles near the restroom door rippled again, slow, deliberate. The mirror on the wall had gone completely black. I called his name again. Nothing. The sound of rain was swallowed by static, thin and sharp like pressure in my ears. The mirror was now completely opaque, as if the glass had turned to smoke. I moved closer, light trembling over the edges. My reflection was gone. Only darkness looked back. I tried the radio. "Dispatch, this is Unit 47, officer down, requesting backup. Over." The response came broken, distant, looping. My own words repeating back, half a second delayed, like an echo from underwater. I turned away. The hall behind me felt longer than before. It shouldn't have been. The walls looked stretched, wet breathing. The floor rippled faintly when I stepped. My boots left no sound. I could still see Miller's flashlight on the ground, but it looked farther now. I blinked. It was gone. I started recording verbally. "Officer Harker, time 109, visual distortion, partner missing." My voice sounded flat. No thips. Like it was recorded before I said it. I heard movement near the stalls, a low shuffle, followed by breathing, too close. I aimed the light. The stall door creaked, open an inch. A shadow behind it, human shape, unmoving. Miller. Silence. Then a whisper from behind me, not from the stall. Danny. Spoon. Nothing. The mirror hissed. Static again. For a moment, the black surface flickered and showed an image. Me, standing there but not moving. Then behind that reflection, a shape. Tall. Thin. It stood just behind my shoulder in the glass. But when I turned, nothing. The air vibrated, low frequency hum, almost mechanical. My camera caught interference. Frame skipping, time code jumping backward 2 seconds, then forward again. I felt lightheaded, like oxygen thinning. I took a step back. The hum grew louder. A flash of light from the mirror, white, fast, blinding. When my vision cleared, I was no longer in the same room. The roof above intact. The walls clean. No rain. No sound. Just silence. My flashlight still on. The building looked like it did years ago. New. Unburned. I could hear faint voices. Someone laughing. Music from an old radio. Then footsteps. I turned. A man in uniform stood at the end of the hall, face half in shadow. Older model badge. Wrong patch. Sir, this area is closed, I said automatically. He didn't move. The light hit his face. My face. Same eyes. Same scar on the chin. He smiled slowly and whispered, "You stayed?" The light cut out. Darkness swallowed everything. I could hear the rain again, but muffled like it was happening behind walls. The air was thick, metallic. I reached for my shoulder mic. It was warm. Too warm. I lifted it. It wasn't my mic. It was melted plastic, twisted with my own name tag fused into it. My pulse hammered in my throat. I turned my flashlight back on. The walls were decayed again, black and dripping. The smell of burned paint filled the air. I heard Miller's voice faintly through the static. "Danny, help me." It came from the radio, then from behind me, then from inside the wall. I hit the transmit. "Where are you?" A pause, then a single word. "Under." I lowered the light. The floor was wet, uneven. In one section, the tiles looked loose, shifted. I crouched down, pressed a boot against the edge. It moved, revealing a dark cavity beneath. A crawl space. The smell from below was foul, chemical old. My camera recorded the moment. The lens shook from my breathing. I dropped the flashlight down. The beam caught fabric. Blue. A police jacket. Miller's. And a hand, pale and still, resting on the floor beneath it. My chest locked up. I reached down, calling again. "Miller." The camera audio spiked. An impossible screech of feedback. Then movement. The hand twitched, fingers curling inward. My own light flickered. I thought I saw something else there, behind him. Faces, dozens, pressed against the earth, watching. My radio screamed with white noise. The word "stay," repeated, rhythmic, mechanical. I staggered back. The walls started to bend inward, slowly, like the whole building was breathing with me. My chest hurt. My vision tunneled. I ran. Down the corridor, through water, slipping on tiles. Every light I passed flickered to black as I moved, one by one. Behind me, something followed. Not footsteps, something heavier, dragging. Each second the sound got closer, like metal scraping on concrete. I reached the exit door, pushed. It wouldn't open. I hit it again, harder. My camera caught glimpses of movement behind me. Tall silhouettes crawling from the walls, hands too long, joints wrong. I screamed into the mic, "Dispatch, officer in distress." Repeat, "Officer in." Static swallowed the rest. The door gave way. I stumbled into the rain, cold air burning my lungs. The parking lot was empty, cruiser lights still flashing, but wrong. Flashing too slow, like time was lagging. I ran to the car, opened the door, grabbed the radio again. "This is Harker, Unit 47. I need..." A voice interrupted, soft and calm. "Unit 47, copy. Stand by for next call." The voice was mine. I froze, looked at the reflection in the window. It wasn't me. The face staring back smiled, wide, eyes too black. Then everything cut to static. What follows is a reconstruction compiled from dispatch records, recovered footage, and the final transmission from Officer Harker before disappearance. The authenticity of the material has not been fully verified. Rain continues through the entire recording. Visual shows the patrol car idling beside the old rest stop. Emergency lights active, but flashing irregularly. Harker's voice is low, uneven, possibly in shock. "I'm outside. Miller's gone. I don't know what's in there. Dispatch, please respond." The radio hums for several seconds before answering with his own earlier transmission, looping back at half speed. "Miller's gone. Gone." He exhales sharply, checks his weapon, and starts toward the tree line. The camera catches glimpses of movement in the dark. Figures between the trees, bending and straightening, as if out of sync with the rain. At 1:26 hours, a faint voice cuts through the static. "Unit 47, return to base." The tone is calm, automated, but not from dispatch. Background analysis shows layered breathing beneath the command. Harker freezes, points the flashlight into the woods. The beam catches a shape about 20 feet ahead. It looks like Miller. Same jacket, same height, head tilted slightly downward. Harker calls out. No response. The figure lifts its arms slowly, palm facing out. The fingers are wrong, too long, bending backward at the joints. Then the light cuts out. For nearly 20 seconds, the screen is black except for faint audio. Harker breathing, running water, and something else like a second set of footsteps matching his pace. When the image returns, the patrol car door is open. The passenger seat is wet, but there's no sign of Miller's gear. Only his body cam, placed neatly on the dashboard, red light blinking. The feed distorts heavily for the next minute. Multiple voices are heard overlapping. Miller, dispatch, and a child repeating, "Don't answer." Frame by frame review shows flickers of Harker's own face at different angles, as though several versions of him stood around the car. At 1:44 hours, he speaks directly to the camera. "If someone finds this, don't come here. Don't trace the signal. It doesn't stop." His voice cracks, tone dry and metallic. Behind him, faint lights flicker deep inside the building, like flashlights moving independently. He turns to look. When he faces the camera again, his expression is blank. The next frames show him walking toward the rest stop again. The camera feed glitches continuously, looping 5-second segments. Each loop, he appears slightly closer to the entrance, though his movements never match. In the final intact frame before total corruption, he stands in the doorway. His eyes are open wide. His mouth moves, but the sound is delayed. The last decipherable words, "He's still calling." Then silence. Post-incident reports show that Unit 47 failed to check back in a central at 3 o'clock hours. A search team was dispatched at dawn. They found the cruiser still running, lights on, doors open. The area showed no signs of struggle. Both officers' sidearms were accounted for. Miller's badge was located inside the rest stop, embedded in a section of wall as if pressed into softened plaster. Harker's body cam was recovered 2 weeks later, 30 miles away, found by a hunter in a drainage ditch. Its internal clock showed a continuous recording loop extending 48 hours past the initial disappearance. The final seconds of the file are visual only. Rain falling over the same rest stop, the doors swaying in the wind, faint figures visible behind the glass. Then a single radio call fades in, clear and new. Dispatch voice, time-stamped October 31st, 2021, 22:03 hours. Unit 47, disturbance reported near Old Route 19. Caller reports voices in the woods. Do you copy? No response. The signal repeats 3 times. Then another voice answers, grainy, distant, but unmistakable. Unit 47, copy. Out. End of report. Recovered log, closed to 18 hours. Signal from Old Route 19, received again November 2nd, 2021.